What's up guys? Today, I'm going to be going over what I believe to be the most broken build / ability in Enshrouded. I'm your boy Winner Phoenix, and if this video helps you in any way, please leave a like and a comment below to let me know how I'm doing. Now, without further ado, we're going to jump right into the build so you can breeze your way through Emberville and do it in style. But first, a disclaimer. Enshrouded is not like most survival games where you're only as good as the amount of time you put into it. In Enshrouded, it is very easy to become overpowered with just a few simple steps. No one wants to run around struggling to beat enemies and scraping by just to get to the next piece of content. At least that's not why I play video games. So if that's you, then this video is not for you. Becoming overpowered doesn't take hundreds of hours of gameplay, but instead with a sharp mind and the ability to read. Let me show you what I mean. Enshrouded has about 15 different types of classes, and it can all be a bit overwhelming. Maybe you want to be an archer and deal massive amounts of damage from afar, but you're immediately crushed when surrounded. Maybe a knight is more suited for you then, but those pesky ranged enemies keep poking you down as you deal with the front line. And of course, there's the ever powerful mage class to deal huge AoE damage, but it has the same weaknesses as an archer. This weakness is made even more glaring when you throw in your mana conservation. Well, no more, because today I introduce to you the Red Mage. The Red Mage has always been my favorite class, and he is essentially the mashup of all three mainstream classes. He can deal with ranged enemies just as good as he can with melee enemies, all while tanking heaps of damage from enemies. You also won't have to be max level for this build, as I'm going to show you step by step how to achieve this, and it all starts here in the skill tree. Now, for this build, we're going to focus on turning defense into offense, and offense into even more offense. And to do that, we're going to need Blink. This skill replaces your dodge roll with a blink, and that's all it does at its base level. But again, we're going to turn that into our strongest ally. And how do we do that? Is by taking the two skills branching off of Blink, starting with Blink Attack. This will trigger an AoE explosion around your character as you blink into enemies, causing fire damage. This little detail is important for a few other abilities, so remember that last part. The second supporting ability for Blink will keep Blink true to its nature as an escape tool, because it allows you to use Blink while you're stunned, should you actually get hit at all. Immediately after Blink, we want to focus on Evasion Attack in the Battle Mage tree adjacent to Blink. This second ability will allow you to dictate when it's time to strike and when it's time to retreat. After you perform a dodge, this skill will act as a gap closer and immediately attack whatever enemy you have locked onto. If no enemy is targeted, then you perform the attack forward and create space from your attackers behind you. It's a great ability for controlling the fight. And honestly, that's it for that section. Now we can go into the fancy stuff that really makes this build outshine the rest. For your third skill, you're going to want Counter Strike. This node turns more defense into offense when you are struck. When attacked, there's a 20% chance to return 50% of the damage back to your attacker in the form of fire damage. You see a pattern starting to form here, aren't you? What's even more exciting about this ability is the next line of text that states, "This magical attack can trigger other skills." The most beautiful sentence in this game, because that's really going to open up our playstyle. Next, grab Quick Charge in the Wizard tree. This ability will cut the casting time of spells in half, and speed is the name of the game here. We're going to have big spells in our pockets, and we can't be channeling for 10 minutes to get a fireball off. Next, work your way into Arsonist. This skill is going to increase the damage of all fire skills, including the damage done by our blinks and counterattacks. Next, grab Pyromaniac for an extra 20% damage to all fire abilities. Again, this affects our blink and counters. At this point, we're constantly dealing fire damage, whether we are attacking someone or being attacked. It doesn't matter, it all burns down. It's a nice bonus that most mobs in the games are also weak to fire to some degree. Now we want to focus on finishing the Wizard tree to get Chain Hit and Mass Destruction. These abilities are all about sharing the love with your enemies. Every time your skills crit, they will branch off extra damage that scales with our intelligence, shocking nearby targets. This is nasty already, but we're going to get one more ability that really seals the deal with this build. For the cherry on top of all that damage, we want to go back to the Trickster tree for Terror. This little baby now stuns targets for 4 seconds when critting them. That means when you blink into a group, the damage will branch off to everyone and stun multiple targets, as each source of damage has a chance to roll critical damage. And all this damage is applied before we even pull our sword out. You could just spam your blink around the room and take everyone out without dulling your blade. Now for those moments where you'll have to whack a few baddies, we're going into the Warrior tree now. This path is pretty straightforward, as it gives us everything we need to fill in the gaps of our build: Constitution for extra health, and Strength to cut through foes still standing after we've John Travolta'd the room right out of their panties.
Look out, give the kid some room, he's taking over again.
Now for the gear. You are not pigeonholed into one type of armor. We do it all so we can wear it all. It really just depends on what part of the build you want to lean into more. You can go for more HP like I have with a nice set of HP boosting chest and leggings combo, or grab a wizard's robe for extra damage when blinking around. The gloves are the super easy to find warrior gloves that give you extra damage with one-handed weapons. Our boots are also nothing special as we get a little health regeneration out of them. And for the headpiece, I went with this wizard hat that increases critical damage output. All this stuff can be found very early in the game and it will carry you to the end game, or at least the end game of early access. Now, to top it all off, we end with our staff over a bow. The staff is nice because we are a mage and fire damage is our ally, but at the same time, the staff also provides healing, along with ice and lightning damage. The bow limits you to only shooting arrows, but the staff can outperform the bow damage and provides heals. The bow is just a little too weak for what we're trying to do, and it also comes with the added downside of always needing to be grabbing twigs. The staff is a set it and forget it tool, and much better in all around combat. And that's it, the return of the red mage, and it's beautiful. I hope you enjoyed this video and got the chance to learn something new here. Go out and experiment with this build and let me know what you think. I really don't think you'll be disappointed. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Later, nerds.